What is he buying into? Is he gonna buy something that's gonna be a problem? And the result was assuring that there's nothing. Also, we are in elevation kind of like higher than the contaminated site. So the path of flow basically goes away from the property, not into the property. So that's another topographic assurance maybe. I'm not an expert, so don't quote me on that I said this is definitely not happening. I'm just telling you that these are the signs that we use to make a very educated decision on whether the property should be bought or not.
So, we're gonna take down the revised, so
Okay.
we can make.
Sure.
There is a subdivision process and also the seeker process.
Yes.
Considerations for that. I think that's all I have for the moment. There are obviously extensive comments in our memo that I recommend going through.
Yes.
Uh,
So the circulation, you gonna make a motion for recirculation?
Yeah, we'll make that motion. Give us a second. May I have a second?
No, go ahead. I've been told.
All in favor? Opposed? Motion is carried.
Okay.
Sorry,
You have one more?
one more thing. With regard to the road and halfway into the road, each property owner owns that part of the road that is into the middle along their property line. Who's paying for the upkeep? Who's paying for the ploughing, the salting, the making sure?
It's the same road maintenance agreement, it's just the technicality of how the road is shaped.
Okay, all right. So the same road maintenance?
Yeah,
Okay,
it's
got
just
it.
the idea of where the property lines stop. It's really more, it's a technical change.
Thank you. Thank you.
Okay, so we're gonna keep the public hearing open.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, notice is hereby given that the Town Stories Planning Board will meet on May 19th, 2026. Hold a public hearing on a minor subdivision owned by Thomas Krzwanis. By order of the Town Stories Planning Board Chairman, see how it goes. None?
Good evening, my name's Tom Conrad with Ray Joyce and Conrad. Basically, we've got a two-lot subdivision, it's on Van Camp Road. Both lots are, one's a little over 10, the other's around 15 acres. We've got access to a public road. One lot's already built on, I don't know what more.
Okay, let's see if we have any questions. Is there anyone here for this public hearing? Is there anyone here that has any questions about this public hearing?
You can do seeker, so, we did not receive any materials on this project before the meeting, but based on what we had been submitted before the prior meeting, there were only very minor comments in our memo. We did prepare a part 2, did not identify any significant impacts, so we have also prepared a part 3 with a negative declaration for the board to consider.
So I'll entertain a motion. Okay, let's see. Have a second. All in favor? Opposed? Motion is carried. I'll entertain a motion to close the public hearing.
Anybody else? Second?
Second. All in favor? Opposed? Motion is carried. Okay, board, any questions?
Now, I brought in 4 more maps. I took the sketch plan off, highlighted this better, but nothing else really changed. today's date to it, so, but I still have to have the applicant sign the map.
So our comments from last time on this were very minor. We asked that they show the right of way to the road, that they show the setback line, potential possible house and septic and such on there, and those things are done on the map as they go.
Can you just send me a digital copy of that? Just make sure that it's had it in the file.
Anyone have any questions? I'll entertain a motion for conditional final approval, in addition to signatures on that. Keith made a motion. And a second.
Wait, who did?
All in favor? Opposed? Motion is carried. Notice is hereby given that the Town of Saugers Planning Board will meet on May 19, 2026 for a public hearing on a minor subdivision owned by Scott and Marshall Rubenstein. By order of the Town of Saugers Planning Board Chairman, see how it goes.
Just give a brief little description for the public, in case anybody is here for your.
Okay, own an 18-acre parcel, where 3 roads meet, Highwoods Road, Fish Creek Road, and Olson Drive. There is an old barn that we bought for the property back in 1984, and we've been taking care of that barn since that time. And now we'd like to separate that barn and the 1.1 acres from the other property, and I'm intending to sell the property.
Okay, I'm gonna open it up for questions from the public. Is there anyone here for this, public hearing? And is there anyone that has questions about this public hearing? Again, is there anyone here for this public hearing? Or is there anyone that has any questions about this public hearing?
Yep. So, there were some minor comments in our memo from last month. Those have been addressed in the submission for this month. We prepared a EAF Part 2, it did not identify any significant impacts, so we have also prepared a draft Part 3 and negative declaration for the board's consideration.
Okay, board. I have a motion for negative on second.
I have to recuse myself because I'm affiliated.
May I have a second? All in favor? Opposed? Motion is carried. Can I have a motion to close the public hearing? May I have a second? All in favor? Opposed? Motion is carried. Wait, yeah. One more.
Keep coming.
I think we're good to go. We can make it a conditional, which is
Just
Just standard. Can I have a motion for that? Kevin, can I have a second? Bob, all in favor? Opposed? Motion is carried. Matt?
Thank you.
You're welcome. That concludes the public hearing portion of our meeting. Next up is old business. And the first item under old business is key capture minutes, site plan, special use permit.
Good evening, everybody. Once again, Paul Williamson, Key Capture Energy, having me here with you this evening, and thank you for taking some time to discuss our project with us. We received the latest two memos from the town planner on Friday and Monday. There's a number of different items in there that we need some time to review with both our engineering consulting teams and environmental consulting teams. And we plan to provide a full written response to some of those items. So we're not really prepared to go through those items with you specifically tonight. However,
Speak up into the mic to hear you better.
glad to, thank you.
Thank you.
Yes. We lost my train of thought. We'd be glad to entertain any additional questions from the planning board tonight. And one of the questions that I have for the planning board, one of the things I'd like to work with the planning board to do is, you'll notice in the memo that was delivered yesterday, there's a number of recommendations in there, some of which involve potential edits to the site plan. I'm hoping to come up with a comprehensive list of all of the final changes that need to be made or additions that need to be made to the site plan so that we can come up with the final copy, not have to do this piecemeal. So if we can work with the planning board to, I don't know if you've had a chance to look at all the recommendations, but once you've looked at those recommendations and come up with what you're accepting and what you're not accepting and what you would like to see, we would like a summary of that so that we can again provide a final copy. The only thing, the one item in particular that I think maybe might be up for discussion this evening is there was a site visit with a number of planning board members on the 7th, I believe that's correct, I did that, May 7th. And just would like to know whether or not at this time if we can confirm the conclusion of that site visit vis-a-vis the discussion of whether or not we should be labeling all trees greater than 6 inches on the site plan.
Gina and myself, Robert, two members of the board. And it's an open site, there's a significant tree in the center. You can't hear me? We walked the property about approximately 2 weeks ago, Gina and myself. I think as many of you are probably aware, it's an open site. There is one tree of major significance in the center of the site. The rest of the trees is small, brush. There's no, we haven't had a chance to discuss this with the board,
Okay.
but as far as delineating where the trees, did you walk the site?
I did, we have a comment about this in our memo. So in the code, there is a provision, and it's waivable by the board, that all trees greater than 6 inches be shown on the plans within the area to be cleared. Not for the whole parcel, just within the area to be cleared. There are really 2 reasons to do that. One is to see if there are any particularly important specimen trees that can be saved, which can apply to some projects. The second is to evaluate the maturity of the forest, to sort of get a better picture of what the forest is like, to help the board as they consider potential seeker impacts of a project. What's the impact that would be on the forest? What kind of forest is it is a consideration. The first of those considerations isn't really applicable here. There's not really a way to, that's not really up for discussion. Whether some of the, maybe theoretically the project could be reoriented a little bit, but that's not the main point. The main point is, does the board find that it is consideration of potential impacts for seeker, that this information would be valuable? We do recommend that the provision not be waived, that it be kept. We do note, as I just said, that it only applies to the area that would be cleared by the project, not to the entire large parcel that it is.
And again, what we're really looking for is the conclusion of that discussion, just so that we can plan for it accordingly.
I don't know if we're really ready to do that.
I understand.
Because it's really,
And I think, let's then put a pin in that and add that to my broader request that we come up with a comprehensive list of final updates that we need to make to the site plan. And I don't know if this is possible, but in terms of efficiency of timing and process, if there's any way that we could do that between now and the next planning board meeting so that we could prepare that information, I think that would be great, but I don't know if that's possible.
It is straightforward enough for me to go through our memos, look for site plan recommendations, and circulate that to the board. What I will caution you is that as we continue review of the project, new things can come up.
Understood.
There's no such thing as a final site plan at this stage.
It does feel like we're getting pretty close to a narrow point. And again, if we can avoid coming in with reiterations where we're changing one comment on one page of a 6-page site plan or something like that, we'd like to avoid doing that. So
Understood, and it is up to you how much you want to resubmit in a given submission. If you want to let the site plan sit for a couple of
and
meetings.
if you and that's exactly what we're doing right now. So okay, very good. So with that being said, I don't have any other specific issues that I'd like to bring up with the planning board. But again, I open myself to any questions that you have that are beyond what's already included in the memo.
Regarding the noise study, in addition, what we received was a great executive summary, but it wasn't a complete report. And I would like to request that in addition to addressing the planner's comments in the most recent letter that has the output
We can't
from
hear
that.
Can you use the mic, please?
The noise study summary letter that we received was an excellent executive summary, but it was not a complete copy